episode 4 of Christian Teaches. I'm Christian. Today we're talking about the question wall. Any good science lesson should have a lot of kids asking questions. The problem, as any science teacher knows, is that you get a lot of questions that are off topic, maybe not relevant to exactly what you're talking about. But they're good questions, and you don't want them to just disappear into the ether. You want to give kids an opportunity to tangle with those kinds of things. Enter the question wall. The way the question wall works is every table has a stash of post-it notes. Anytime a student has a question that is not necessarily relevant to what they're talking about, they write it on a post-it note and they stick it on their class's section of the wall. We get a lot of good questions up here, as you can see. Right now we have questions such as, when did climate change start? Questions such as, what would happen if the earth never rotated? That are tied into objectives that we've covered, but are not a topic we're directly discussing in that moment. Sometimes you get questions that are science related, but have nothing at all to do with what we're talking about, such as, why is fire sometimes blue and sometimes red, and such as, what is plasma as a state of matter. Those are great questions. They're not in my standards, not in my objectives, but I don't want them to just disappear. We also get some kind of ridiculous questions like, how long have you had your beard, Mr. Herr? So I do go through once in a while and cull the questions that are not questions that I want students to be tangling with. And then these questions stay here all quarter. As a standing may do option, whenever a student is finished with something early or they need an extension activity, they can come up here and choose any question they want to off the wall and they can answer it. The way they do that is they grab a CER template sheet, and these are available on christianteaches.com. These are always in a bin in the back of my room. And if you're not familiar with CER, it's similar to RACE, an ELA strategy. It's basically a science writing strategy. Students then find a resource either in my classroom library or online that helps them answer the question that they chose, and then they write a CER paragraph on that topic. Now, the research aspect of that can be hard. As any 6th grade teacher knows, 6th graders often do not have very strongly developed research skills. So I also developed the Wizzard wall to make the question wall a little bit more accessible for students who struggle with that. The Wizzard wall lives over here. So right here beside me is the Wizzard wall. Got to give credit to my buddy Matt for that name. The Wizzard wall is a selection of questions that I've chosen off the question wall, and I've attached 2 articles already that answer it. So we have questions up here such as, what is a blood moon? Are there other universes? That are fantastic questions, just not things that I cover. And like I said, there's already an article attached. So all students need to do is come and choose one, and then grab a CER sheet out of the topic, and they're all set to go to answer a question wall question. So that's the question wall, yo. This works really great for science content, but it can be adapted for any content at all. And it's a really great way for students to wrestle with topics that are maybe not quite in your scope and sequence. Thanks as always for watching. Next week we're going to stick with academics a little bit and talk about assessment systems. I know it does not sound very exciting, but I promise you've never seen an assessment system like this before. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment on this video or DM me on Instagram at christianteaches.com. And as always, I'll be posting some question wall resources, including the CER template, on that website. Have a great week of teaching, and as always, teach on.